If you looked at the solar system from afar, two planets might immediately catch your eye. Both are roughly the same size. Both have solid, rocky surfaces. Both orbit within the inner solar system, just a little over 40 million kilometers apart. And both were formed from the same cosmic dust and debris that swirled around our young sun over 4.5 billion years ago. One is Earth, the other, Venus. In the early days of planetary science, Venus was known as Earth's twin. Similar in size, in density, in composition, some even believed it might be a lush paradise beneath its thick clouds, with tropical rainforests, teeming life, and endless oceans. But reality turned out to be far more hostile and far more fascinating. Venus is a world of extremes. A surface hot enough to melt lead, an atmosphere thick enough to crush a probe in minutes, clouds made of sulfuric acid, and air so dense with carbon dioxide that it traps heat with devastating efficiency. And yet, for all its brutality today, evidence suggests that Venus wasn't always like this. In fact, it may have once been wet, even habitable. It may have had oceans. So what happened? Where did all that water go? And how did Earth's twin become its opposite? To understand what Venus might once have been, we have to turn to the clues hidden in its atmosphere. In the late 20th century, NASA's Pioneer Venus mission sent probes diving into the thick, yellow clouds that enshroud the planet. What they discovered was unexpected: a high ratio of deuterium to hydrogen, much higher than anything we find in Earth's atmosphere today. Deuterium, a form of hydrogen that contains an extra neutron, is heavier. Because of that extra weight, it escapes a planet's atmosphere more slowly than regular hydrogen. So when scientists observe an enrichment of deuterium, it tells them something important. Hydrogen was once abundant, but it's been lost to space. That hydrogen likely came from water vapor. And the only way Venus could have lost so much of it is if, at some point in the distant past, it had a lot more water. Estimates suggest Venus might once have had oceans as deep as Earth's, perhaps hundreds of meters or even kilometers deep, spread across its entire surface. A blue planet, much like our own. But now, there's almost none left. What could have driven a planet from wet to bone dry? We often talk about the Goldilocks zone, the region around a star where temperatures are just right for liquid water to exist. Venus lies just within this zone, but barely. Being closer to the Sun than Earth, Venus receives nearly twice the solar energy. That difference may not sound extreme, but over millions of years, it adds up. It may have been enough to destabilize the planet's climate. As the young sun brightened, Venus's oceans would have begun to evaporate. The water vapor entered the atmosphere. And here's the critical feedback. Water vapor is a greenhouse gas. It traps heat. That trapped heat evaporates more water, which traps more heat, which evaporates more water in a runaway cycle. A runaway greenhouse effect. Eventually, the oceans reached a boiling point. Literally, they turned to steam, thickening the atmosphere into a superheated, pressure-cooked environment. At this point, Venus may have become completely covered in a water vapor atmosphere, with no liquid water left on the surface. And worse was still to come. Once the oceans had evaporated, Venus's upper atmosphere became a battlefield. High above the surface, in the thin reaches of the sky, ultraviolet light from the sun began to bombard water molecules. These high-energy photons split water apart into hydrogen and oxygen in a process called photodissociation. Hydrogen, the lightest element in the universe, easily escapes a planet's gravitational grip, especially if the planet has no protective magnetic field. And Venus doesn't. Unlike Earth, Venus lacks a global magnetic field to shield its atmosphere from the onslaught of solar wind. The result? The hydrogen was lost to space permanently. The oxygen left behind likely reacted with the surface rocks or was also swept away over time. What remained was a dry, carbon-dominated atmosphere, locked in place and building heat. A climate gone critical, a cycle that could not be reversed. The water was gone. If Venus once had oceans and a temperate climate, then it raises a tantalizing possibility. Could Venus have once been alive? On Earth, life began in water. The oldest microbial fossils here date back more than 3.5 billion years, when Earth was still violent, volcanic, and changing rapidly. If Venus followed a similar timeline and had stable oceans for even a few 100 million years, it's not impossible that microbial life could have emerged there too. If it did, what happened to it? Did Venus's runaway greenhouse shut down all biological processes before they could take hold? Or is it possible that some form of life adapted? Some scientists have speculated that microbial life could survive, not on Venus's hellish surface, but in the upper cloud layers, where temperatures are mild and pressures are similar to those on Earth. These clouds are acidic, yes, but extremophiles on Earth survive in highly acidic environments too. In 2020, the discovery of phosphine gas in Venus's atmosphere was announced with much excitement. On Earth, phosphine is a biosignature gas produced by microbes in oxygen-free environments. Could this be a sign of life in Venus's skies? The results are debated. The detection is still under review. But the question is alive again, and it has rekindled a centuries-old curiosity about our planetary sister. So how did Venus and Earth, so similar at birth, end up so wildly different? The answer may lie in small differences that grew over time. Venus is slightly closer to the Sun. Venus rotates very slowly. One day lasts longer than a Venusian year. Venus lacks a global magnetic field. Venus may never have had plate tectonics to recycle carbon and regulate climate. These subtle variations, combined with chance and chaos, pushed Venus down a path that Earth narrowly avoided. And this brings us to something deeper. Venus is not just a mystery. Venus is a mirror showing us an alternate Earth, one where the climate spiraled beyond control, where the oceans boiled away, where a once promising planet died, not from impact or fire or ice, but from a failure to maintain balance. It forces us to ask, how fragile is our own world? How close is Earth to the edge of its own runaway? Today, we stand at the edge of a new era of Venus exploration. For decades, Mars captured our attention, its dry riverbeds, its potential for past life. But now, Venus is back in the spotlight. Meanwhile, the European Space Agency is preparing Envision, which will complement these missions with radar mapping and atmospheric analysis. Together, these missions could unlock Venus's long-buried history and finally answer whether it once held oceans or life or both. So, where did all the water go? It escaped, molecule by molecule, over eons of time. It was broken by sunlight, lost to space, and erased from the surface of a world that might once have shimmered with oceans. Venus stands as a silent monument to what might have been, a world that could have been blue, might have been alive, almost was Earth. But it wasn't. It isn't. And that may be the most powerful lesson of all. Because in Venus's past, we see Earth's possible future. And in Venus's silence, we hear a warning. That planetary balance is delicate. That climate is powerful. That habitability is not guaranteed. We don't just study Venus to learn about it. We study Venus to understand ourselves.